Let's just keep it real with ourselves. You're watching this video because something in your life isn't working out as well as you like it to. And let me guess, you've been doing that thing again where you just pretend that it doesn't exist and hope that it works itself out because you just don't have the bandwidth to deal with it, right? How's that been working out? The human mind is so fascinating in its ability to dodge uncomfortable truths. We really can be masters of avoidance. Just think about how easily we could spend 2 to 3 hours doom scrolling on our socials or an hour just trying to figure out what we're going to watch on our favorite streaming service, let alone watching said diversion instead of actually facing and dealing with what's really bothering us. I'm going to keep it a stack with you. You can't conquer what you can't or are unwilling to confront. But I'm not just going to call you out without giving you any solutions. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. Look, I totally get it. We are all avoiding something. So there is definitely no judgment over here. You could be avoiding advocating for yourself or taking on a career change that you've been dreaming about, or that serious conversation that you have to have with somebody that you love. Or maybe you've been avoiding looking at your bank statements and getting your finances and spending in check. Whatever it is, one thing is for sure. Watching another TikTok or hitting snooze for the fifth time isn't going to make your problem go away. And the problem isn't even that you have these challenges. The problem is that avoidance has become your default response. Our brains have developed some pretty clever ways to keep us comfortable, even when comfort is the last thing that we need. Let's actually take a moment to think about what happens when we play the little avoidance game that is so easy to fall back into. Your tiny problems can grow into massive headaches. Then your anxiety starts building up and just takes over your brain, which makes your confidence take a nosedive because now you're doubting your abilities and expecting the worst, which stops you from taking any action. And all the while, life just keeps happening and opportunities pass you by while you're hiding under that illusory security blanket of avoidance. I like to think of avoidance like creating and carrying a balance on a credit card. When a challenge arises and you just sweep it under the metaphorical rug, you might not be paying now, but the interest is building. Your brain might get that temporary relief, like a dopamine hit from getting that new outfit or your new gadget or whatever, but your ability to handle challenges actually decreases. And in reality, that challenge that you're avoiding is still waiting for you. And it's getting more expensive by the day. It's getting more mentally, emotionally, and even physiologically more taxing every day that you don't address it and zero out that balance. So here's the thing. Your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort. The brain's fear response is like an overprotective mom who's afraid to let her child take a tumble on the playground without frantically running to their side so they don't have to interface with anything that might be uncertain, any surprises, anything scary or uncomfortable, or that may generally challenge them in any way. She might think that her job is to make the child's life as soft as possible so that they don't experience any hardship at all. And we all talk about that soft life, but discomfort is where the magic happens. That's where the growth happens. That's where you build your competence and thus your confidence. So let's break down what actually happens. First, you face a challenge like that email that you're afraid to open or send. Then your brain triggers its alarm system and you find a clever excuse to avoid it, like saying, oh, I'll just deal with it when I have more time or when I'm less busy. Then the situation typically gets more complicated, due entirely or in part to your avoidance. which causes your confidence to take a hit, making the next challenge even harder. And the cycle just continues, and you're wondering, why me, God? Fortunately, this isn't just bad luck. It's a pattern. And that's good news because that means that we can understand it and therefore change it. Now let's talk about how to break the cycle. I'm going to share a simple but powerful framework based on years of research in psychology and a real world application. And I like to call it FACE because sometimes the obvious name is the best one. So first you have to find it. So name exactly what you're avoiding without any sugarcoating. It could be one thing or it can be many things, but I invite you to write it down and list it out. Then you want to accept it. Acknowledge that, yes, this is hard and it's perfectly normal to feel scared or a little intimidated by it. And then you want to clarify it. Understand why this matters or how this fits into your life's bigger picture. And then finally, engage it. So take one concrete step forward, even if it's a wobbly baby step. Obviously, you have to take action for anything to improve. Okay, so what does this look like in practical terms? We're going to put this into practice with 3 concrete steps that actually work. The first step is a self-reflection mirror exercise because if you can't keep it real with nobody else, you better be able to keep it real with yourself, okay? So I invite you to create a quiet moment alone. If you could set aside 10 minutes of complete silence and privacy, like no phone, no distractions at all, that would be ideal. You want to grab a pen and paper for this exercise. Now, I invite you to look yourself in the mirror. Soften your gaze, relax your muscles a little bit, and look yourself deep in the eyes. That'll signal your subconscious that you're ready to contact, confront, and communicate with the deepest parts of yourself that you've been pushing into the dark corners of your soul. And when it feels right, ask yourself, what am I actually avoiding right now? And why am I avoiding it? And I invite you to write down your honest answer. Not what you think you should say. Write down whatever comes to mind without judging what reveals itself to you. Again, this could be one major thing or it could be many things. Just write down everything that comes up for you. And I invite you to take a moment to reflect upon why this is important to you and how your avoidance of it has been impacting your life. Feel free to pause this video and go back as necessary to do the exercise now so that it isn't just another thing that you promise yourself that you'll eventually get back to doing, okay? So the second step is the size up. You're going to take your biggest challenge from the list that you just wrote, and I want you to break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Think about like how a book is divided into chapters. So now you're going to rate each piece from 1 to 10 on a scale of difficulty. Now, some people might say eat the frog or start with the hardest thing first, but you can also start with the easy wins, like those 3s and under in difficulty. And that'll keep you motivated to keep pushing through by allowing you to see some measurable progress. Now, again, please feel free to pause the video here and go back as necessary so that you can do the exercise now. Now, step 3, I'm calling the progress principle. So you're going to choose one small, brave action from the list that you can complete every single day. And I want you to document what you did and how you felt doing it. And I want to remind you to make sure to celebrate every win, no matter how small it may seem. And you definitely want to stay consistent to build momentum to carry you all the way through your list to completion. Now, when you complete one thing, you might want to take a day of rest as a celebration or a reward. Or you can go right back and pick another challenge from the list that you wrote in step 1, break it down into parts like we did in step 2, ranking them by difficulty, and then follow the directions in step 3, just repeating this cycle until the list of things that you've been avoiding is complete. Okay, now here's where I want you to listen up, because these are the ways that you can unwittingly sabotage yourself. First of all, don't try to be Superman or Superwoman attempting to tackle everything all at once right out the gate. Take your time and take your challenges one at a time. You'll integrate the essence of the lessons that these challenges have to offer you a lot more completely if you don't rush it. So slow down a little bit. Also, don't think that you need to do it perfectly, because I hate to break it to you, but you won't. So go on and get that up. Just do the thing. Done is better than perfect. And please don't forget to celebrate your progress and your wins, because you're too busy being hard on yourself. I understand that all too well. I'm a Virgo. But with self-development work, you're often the only person that acknowledges your progress in the early stages. So please don't be too hard on yourself. Be a good support and a good cheerleader for your continued effort and success. And with that in mind, don't try to play the lone wolf, because we all need our pack. We all need our tribe. External support from your tribe or your community is an important factor in every undertaking. Even when striving towards personal development and self-mastery, as counterintuitive as that may seem given the individual nature that the terms for these pursuits imply. All in all, I want you to remember, this is not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to move forward despite your fears. So here's what I want you to remember. Confrontation is not about being aggressive or harsh with yourself. It's about being honest, being brave, and being willing to grow. Think of it as being your own truth-telling friend, that direct but supportive person that you have in your life if you are so blessed. So I'm going to give you a little homework. And yes, if you're serious, you're actually going to do this. Number 1, choose one thing that you have been avoiding from the list that you wrote out today. Apply the FACE framework that we went over earlier, and commit to taking one small step forward each day. And I want to invite you to share your progress with someone that you trust, who you know is not going to let you off the hook. Somebody's going to hold you accountable. I really hope what I've shared has been helpful for you today. And as you move forward, just remember, every great achievement in human history started with somebody facing an uncomfortable truth. Everybody who's ever done anything worthwhile had to face their own internal challenges first. Your challenge might be personal, but the process of growth is universal. So you're far from alone in how you feel, or even in how you've been coping. But now you have some tools to tackle those counterproductive coping mechanisms that have been holding you back. So your journey to self-actualization starts right now, in this moment, with you. So what's it going to be? More excuses or more action? If you made it this far in the video, comment a fist and an explosion emoji in the comments below, and share your story. Like, what are you committing to confronting today? Let us cheer you on and hold you accountable. But yeah, if you like this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more practical guidance on personal growth, self-development, and self-mastery. But before we say goodbye for now, if no one else has told you today, I see you. I love you. You are more than capable of achieving your goals, and you better know that, okay? I believe in you. You got this, friend. All right? Peace.